For viewers that don't know, basically it seems that the Connective Corridor is creating the framework and opportunities for the art scene and businesses to thrive through connecting SU to downtown. And which I mean, is that right in sort of assessing that, or I mean, it's a huge project.
It's, yeah, the only maybe thing that I would add to that or clarify is that, you know, it is at least the intention is that it should be a kind of complete collaboration between the city and Syracuse University and fully represent both of those interests, as opposed to being a mechanism for SU kind of imposing its vision of the city on Syracuse. So it really is supposed to be something that is bringing the two closer together and representing both sides of that, of that kind of, I don't want to say binary, but, the kind of town gown idea, that those are both fully present and at the table.
Exactly. It's not one or the other saying how they want it, but coming together and creating opportunities based off of what these businesses need, and not just one person's idea. And like you said, Syracuse University's image of downtown, it's the Syracuse's image of Syracuse.
That's the idea.
Yeah, Urban Video Project, a product of the Connective Corridor collaboration.
It arose at the same. Urban Video Project arose at the same time as the Connective Corridor, and so it was kind of a fortuitous confluence of interests, right? So there were 3 students who sat in on a seminar that was being taught by the artist Carrie Mae Weems at Syracuse University called, I believe, Social Studies 101. It was basically about art and social practice, and they were interested in doing video-based events, video and other digital media-based art as public art, which is not the way we're necessarily accustomed to thinking of it. We think of it either as a kind of a medium for mass distribution, which is highly kind of isolated or privatized in various ways, whether it's somebody sitting at their laptop or it's somebody going to the movie theater, or we think of it as being something that is, on a gallery wall.
Absolutely.
And so the idea was that they wanted to engage with video art as a public medium, and so they were doing these like kind of guerrilla video art events. They would be projecting out of the back of a van onto buses, onto snowbanks, things like this. They were renting their equipment every time, and at some point they decided they wanted to write up a proposal and actually purchase some equipment and make themselves more of an official organization. At the same time, a professor in the design department down at the warehouse by the name of Denise Heckman had a related proposal for a set of permanent video-based or media-based venues around downtown Syracuse. So they were both proposing these as, potential, they were submitting proposals to get funding for these at about the same time to the university. The university saw that there was some overlap or similarity in the 2 proposals, and so they agreed to fund them, basically. This is the way I understand it anyway. So they agreed to fund them, but they were requiring them to kind of become...
The Urban Video Project is to present exhibitions and projects that celebrate the arts and culture of Syracuse and engage artists and the creative community around the world. And you answered that a little bit with the last one, saying how it's unique and the heritage of Syracuse is really in this. One of the first guys, it was Bill, I'm sorry, what's his name?
Bill Viola.
Bill Viola, that's right, really creating this and creating a name for it. Now, ever since the whole creation of it, what has been the overall reception, either from fans, co-workers, whoever else, from the Syracuse community of the Urban Video Project?
I feel like we've gotten a very strong response. I mean, it's the kind of thing that can be very difficult to gauge, as is always the case with public art. It's not the easiest thing to get really direct feedback from the audience, because the audience is so dispersed. The audience is the person who's walking from the parking lot to the On Center to attend a hockey game. The audience is, the skater, who's down there at midnight when no one else is there. Well, not midnight, because we stop screening at 11 p.m. But the skater who's down there, whatever, at 10 p.m. at night when, few other people are there, and then the audience is also, you know, people who have an active interest in the arts and who are coming to our events, which we've tried to really step up and increase the number of events that we're having there, so that it's not just the ongoing exhibition, but that we do things now like having receptions, having screenings, having artist talks. Increasingly, over the last couple of years, we've been trying to make sure that it becomes something that's not just there and can be taken for granted, but which is an event-based thing, so that people have a motivation on a particular night to go down there and convene with, you know, a group of like-minded art lovers.
So motivated enough to actually go and understand and research and find out that this is a unique entity to Syracuse,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. So yeah, along with the mission statement, based on the reception from local Syracuse people, has there been a positive reaction from any artists outside of Syracuse, or outpouring from them?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, definitely all of the artists that we've shown at the site have, you know, those who have come to actually see the site, which has been a number of them. As I said, we're trying to bring people in for talks now, so that they do actually get to see their work on the plaza. And
Sure, yeah.
they're always, you know, it's always a mixture of delight and surprise, because it really is spectacular. It's just visually like very spectacular. And so we've had, you know, a mix of emerging artists, mid-career artists, and, you know, internationally renowned artists, and it's been quite consistent that people are really, you know, that the artists are very delighted to see their work up there, to see it at that scale, to see it as something that has a possibility for having both an audience of, you know, art lovers, gallery goers, and so forth, but also people who don't have an interest in art, or who don't realize that they have an interest in art, because they're seeing it kind of as this magical moment, you know, in the midst of some other task that they are engaged in, that they're just happening upon it. So.
Absolutely. No, that's just great to hear, and to know that. I mean, I've gone back to this maybe a third time now, that it's unique to Syracuse, and that it's one of the projects or artistic projects that are currently going on that's actively engaging artists from around the country, and us creating, like, we're the central hub that started the whole urban video project, and really defining art within video,
Right.
which is very refreshing to hear and refreshing to be a part of as a Syracuse resident.